Hey guys, Zach Anderson of Valley Estate and Elder Law here to talk to you about some things to think about before your first appointment or an initial consultation with our office. And the first thing you want to think about is surrogate decision makers. These are people that if you ever cannot speak, sign, and act for yourself, you're going to appoint them to do so for you, if you wish. The law allows you to do this in a couple of ways. The worst way is a guardianship or conservatorship, and that happens if you don't do proper planning. Now, we help clients with that all the time, but there's a lot cheaper and better alternatives, such as a really robust elder law style financial power of attorney, and we'll get into that more at the consultation. But as far as preparing for that initial consultation, if you could think about who you would want to make decisions for you if you ever couldn't do so for yourself, that would be really, really helpful coming into the appointment. I usually break these out into the financial realm and the healthcare realm. That is, who would you want to manage your finances if you ever couldn't due to an accident or an incapacity or a disease like dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. And if you ever couldn't manage your healthcare, that is elective surgery decisions, talking with the doctors about medical staff, levels of care needs, where do we live, hiring and firing medical personnel, things like that. If you can think about these people coming in, that's going to help us have a more full-body discussion at the consultation. Now, you don't have to have these things decided, but just getting the gears turning in your head is a really good idea. The second thing that you can do to prepare for your initial consultation is think about assets and debts. And there's a fly on the board. That is really funny. That's never happened before. I'm going to leave it. Thinking about assets and debts and just having a list of what you own and what you owe is going to be really helpful. Maybe you have that from a financial advisor. Maybe you've never sat down and done that. That's a really good idea to just start with, well, what do we have? What insurance policies do we have? What property? What bank accounts? Do you, like many of my clients, do you have 10 different bank accounts? We'll write them all down. We'll figure out what we're going to do with them in the estate planning context, but just knowing what they are is going to be a big help at first. You can also think about qualified versus non-qualified accounts. Qualified is basically pre-tax, so that would be an IRA, 401k, TSP, 403b, things like that. Non-qualified would be things like bank accounts, CDs, things like that. Another thing you can look at is plans for assets. And what I mean by that is if you're planning on getting rid of a piece of property, that's really important that I know that in the consultation, because if we're going to deed it into a trust, the government's probably going to charge us some recording fees to do that. And if it's a really valuable property, those recording fees could be over $1,000. If you're planning on selling that and converting it into cash and 6 months from now, whenever you get the right buyer, that's really important that I know that, because we can save you about $1,000 just like that. So thinking about plans for assets, what are we going to do with them? Are we going to spend this money? Do we just live off income? Are we going to get rid of that property? That's really helpful too. And then I'm going to ask you, do you have long-term care insurance? Just to think about long-term care planning. I don't sell these products or anything like that, but it's really important that your estate planning and or elder law attorney knows whether you have long-term care insurance or not. So those are some things you can think about before your first appointment with our office.